Hey, what's up everybody? It's Andre with AndreReese.Biz. Today I'm going to talk about, of all things, let's talk about Black Friday and the boycott, along with, let's talk about Sean P. Diddy Combs and his newest, or the newest Netflix special that's executive produced by 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But first, so it's about 3:42 right now. I think the sun will start making its way down about the next hour and a half. So I have enough time to get out here and do this ride. It's roughly about 44, and I am super bundled today up top. So I've got on all my layers. I added one extra with a hoodie here that covers my ears. The only thing left I have to use as an option is the Pooh Shiesty mask. And so that's next. And on the bottom, on my legs, I just have a pair of shorts on and some tights. So I think with it being where it is right now, I think once I get going, I'll warm up on the bottom. But in the meantime, I'm okay. I think if I need to ride and it's colder, I'll definitely need to use 2 layers of tights. And I think I brought one more layer I can wear underneath this that's a long sleeve. So, but other than that, I'm okay. Hands are a little bit cold, you know, legs are a little bit cold, but out here trying to make it do what it's due. So I hope everybody out there, as we get here and start talking, I hope everybody had a fantastic Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, whatever you want to call it. Some people celebrate, some people don't. I get it. But I'll tell you, when I lived on the West Coast, it was something that you really couldn't necessarily say. But out here on the East Coast, things are a lot different. So I wish you guys, I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We got together with the family. We went to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. So I don't know how long it is, but it's something that's kind of similar to the Florida Keys. It runs parallel to the coast of North Carolina. It's probably, I'd probably say it's probably 50 miles long. It's a narrow peninsula. Most cases it's maybe a quarter mile, half a mile wide. One side is pure ocean, where you get the waves, the theory of nature. And the other side is the quiet and pristine bay. So we got a chance to go hang out in both. But I think the thing that was really cool, there were roughly 22 of us and 5 families that got together. They were all my wife's family and crew. So it was nice to hang out with everybody. We had folks as little as, I think, probably 3. And then we had a number of junior high school kids and kids that are in high school, and a number of the kids are off already in their first year or 2 or few of college. So I'll tell you, if you want to have a successful marriage, the thing that I always tell people, don't have kids. So it's great to not have to put in all the hard work, all the time, constantly. Here, hang on a second.
Distance 1.0 miles, duration 11 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, as well as the financial commitment. It's nice to not have to deal with that. I'm realizing I didn't bring my lights, so maybe I might have to cut it a little bit short. I don't have anything flashing in the front or the back. So, but yeah. It's nice to be around the kids and talk to them and see the kind of things that are cool that they're into and listen to things that they talk about and learn all the newest and coolest slang. It's very refreshing to be around the youth. And so I really enjoy and appreciate that we got to hang out together. And like I said, we had, and I recommend to you guys, get together with your family and friends. The place we stayed, it was a 3-story mini mansion. And for 5 days. We got there Wednesday, Thursday. We were there for Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We left on Monday morning. So we're there about roughly 5 days or so. And the total cost to rent the place was about $2,500. And we split it amongst, 5 families. So we had an epic experience at a minimal cost. And everybody brought food and cooked and brought snacks and all that. So if you get a chance to hang out in the same kind of capacity with your family or friends, do so. It's a lot of fun. And we didn't feel like we were pressured in any way to hang out with each other constantly. We had a general area where the family room was. People would come in and out. They'd leave sometimes and go walking, enjoy the beach. The kids were doing their own stuff, so we did get together one time on Saturday before we left. We went down the street. This is always a little bit of a rough climb here. We went down the street where the lighthouse was and hung out there, checked out the former hunting club, and had a great time. So, like I said, highly recommend it to you guys for sure. Here, hang on a second. Let me make it through here. So this area here is always a little challenging. Okay, here we go. Looking good. Okay, and I gotta cross over here to the other side after coming up this hill. So, brother gets a little winded. All right, we're almost there. All right, no cars behind me. Okay. All right, I feel naked out here riding without my front light and rear light, but it's got to make the best of it. So, all right, here we go. So, yeah, highly recommend it. If you guys get a chance to get together with your family or friends and head out someplace and have a ball. That's exactly what we did. So, all right. So enough of that. Let's talk about Black Friday, of all things. So I know a lot of folks, seems like for the last 6 months have been talking about boycotts and, sitting out this, holiday season when the big corporations that are, affecting people as they see this is a chance for them to make some of their, biggest revenue for the year. And so the idea was, because you're not happy with the current administration and other things that are out here happening, let's show these guys what we mean. Hey, what's up? Yeah, let's show these guys what we mean, and let's not participate. And if you do participate, focus on going after spending your money at local merchants, kind of a thing. So the numbers that came out, I think they were yesterday I looked. Black Friday, this holiday season, so far, this is actually a short year for the holiday season, because Thanksgiving fell, I think, on the 27th. A lot of times it falls on the 22nd or the 23rd, so things oftentimes during this time may get, a little compressed, but I don't necessarily think that's the case here. But Black Friday holiday sales inside the store as well as online shopping, I think we're up 11% over. Here, hang on a second.
Distance 2.0 miles, duration 17 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, things were up roughly about 11% over the previous holiday period for Black Friday, measured equally last year. So did it work? I don't know. If you look at some of the spot things that are happening with like Target, I think their sales were down online as well as in the store, but that's been kind of a trend that's ongoing. And I don't know if it's even related to, folks specifically boycotting them. Because, I know that there was a big push not too long ago, it still is, to continue to try to cripple them because of their anti-DEI policies that they enacted, And, so me personally, I can't even tell you the last time I shopped at Target. So, and it has nothing to do with the protest or, their policies or anything. I haven't not shopped there. It's probably been at least 2 or 3 years. So is it part of a bigger issue or a bigger problem? I don't know. So why don't I shop there? Well, I shop pretty much now on Amazon. And so when I lived out in the Brentwood area, I would frequent Target a lot more often. But now there's not a Target store anywhere close to me. And in comparison, Walmart is a store I used to shop at all the time before too. I don't shop at Walmart anymore either. A lot of it's proximity. So the stores are not close to me. It's not convenient. I'm not going to go do a membership for Target, or I should say for Walmart, so that they can ship the stuff to my house for free. That's kind of redundant. I've already got Amazon, and Amazon's algorithm monitors, anything going on at Walmart, and if they're the seller of record, they'll drop the price and at least match it. So it's not even an issue there. So I don't shop at either one of them. There's a number of different stores I don't shop at either. There's most mall stores don't shop at. I just made a purchase now from Macy's for the first time, and I think I looked back. It was back in 2018 was the last time I bought something from Macy's. So the only reason why I bought something there was because there was a specific item I was looking for that only they carry for a Christmas gift. So I had to go there, and it was on sale, and it was easy just to buy it online. Plus I had a couple old gift cards that were floating around. I think I had roughly about $75. So I used those gift cards to make the purchase. But I have no reason or thought to go there and buy more stuff in the near future. So I'm not going to, So it's like kind of like one of those things is, and if you think about it, pretty much all major retailers, there was Mervyn's at one point, there was Gemco. When I was a little kid, there was something called Whitefront, who else? Sears. So a number of different companies over time lose their mustard. So is it coincidental what's happening with Target right now? I don't know. I can't tell you that for sure. But pretty much all businesses over time, if they're retail, they will decline. So sometimes people have poor experiences there. Other times they just, lose favor. So I can't necessarily tell you that the reason why I don't shop at any of these stores anymore, the specific reason behind it, more so than convenience. I used to be really, really super heavy on buying all my groceries at Trader Joe's. I may go to Trader Joe's now once every quarter at the most, a few times a year, just for nostalgia purposes, because the nearest Trader Joe's is nowhere near our house. And so where do I shop at now? I buy my groceries online through Whole Foods. Here, hang on a second here. All right. I buy my groceries online through Amazon and go pick them up directly from the warehouse location because it's not too far from my house. So it makes it really easy to be able to do that. You know, and so I have no beef with Trader Joe's. If Trader Joe's opened up within a mile or two of where we live, I would shift my buying back to Trader Joe's. So you got to kind of look deeper when it comes to people oftentimes taking a victory lap. But if people are happy with the downfall of Target, you know, who knows if it's already going to happen anyway, and folks just kind of jumped in on the trend as things were going down, or if they're really truly having an impact, because there's plenty of other people that are thriving right now that have similar policies. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things you got to kind of like look at. And
distance
here, hang on a second.
0 miles, duration 24 minutes and 11 seconds.
Okay, so it's kind of one of those things you got to kind of like look at and analyze and try to determine, you know, if there's any truth to what people may be claiming as a victory. So, because ultimately in the end, if the goal was to reduce and have people sit it out, you know, it wasn't successful in any kind of way, because sales are up 11% in store and online overall. You know, and so it is what it is, you know. But let me just talk real quick about, so me personally, I bought a lot of stuff during Black Friday. I have set up multiple lists of things on Amazon and other things at other websites. So what I typically do about 9 months, or I should say August, September, if there's stuff that I want and I don't absolutely need it, I will set up a folder on Google or in Amazon, and I'll add those items to it. And so what I do is I keep track of those things and try to determine, you know, where they are right now price-wise and where they may go. And so it's very easy to track, especially if you're looking at stuff on Amazon. Here, hang on a second. Let me get up this hill real quick. So, all right, almost there. Okay, here we go. Almost there. Okay, here we go. All right, I can kind of cruise now a little bit. This is the peak of as high as I will be for this ride. So let me catch my breath a little bit. We'll get back in it. So there are two apps I recommend, or they're Google add-ons. One is Keepa, and the other one is Camel, I think. But I think the one I use is Keepa. It's a plugin that works with Amazon. And so what happens during the day, you know, prices are changing constantly with items on Amazon. Some things stay constant, other ones are fluctuating depending upon what seller is up and what's going on out there in the market. And what Keepa allows you to do is you can set up alerts. So if an item you're looking at goes on sale, it'll send you a text or an email. Or if you're looking at trying to buy something, you can look back at the historical chart and see what the price changes have been, you know, for the last year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You can kind of zoom in specifically and look at Black Friday of last year, or, you know, during the holidays. Do those individual items have any price sensitivity to the holidays themselves as they roll out? And you can kind of see also during, when Amazon does their Amazon Prime event, how prices are affected. So you can kind of use that to kind of determine, where things might be for Black Friday. And so, like I said, there's a ton of stuff that I put into my little list, and I was monitoring, watching, and keeping an eye on the prices. And so a lot of stuff went on sale. And, when it comes to trying to determine when is the best time to try to buy, people say, oh, you buy early on in November or December. But where the trend is now is that a lot of the Black Friday prices will come out about a week before, and they will stay. They will stick, especially on Amazon. And so there's a number of items I was keeping an eye on. They had significant price decreases. And I said, well, I can go ahead and buy them now, but let me see what their trend is now. Are they gonna drop them even more on Black Friday? And they didn't. So all those items that once they came out with the lower price, tagged them at Black Friday, they stayed and they rode through. And when Cyber Monday came, a lot of the prices stayed at the Black Friday price. They just changed the little tag to Cyber Monday. And then so once Tuesday came, early in the morning, everything rolled back to the regular prices. So a lot of things that I bought were 5%, 10%, 15, 35, 40% off what they normally sell for. And I can't necessarily say that there's a reason why I would consider paying more just to prove a point when nobody sees it but me. So unless I went online and said, hey, I purposely didn't buy stuff during Black Friday and paid way more than I should have, just to prove a point. It wasn't, here, hang on.
Distance 4.0 miles, duration 30 minutes and 31 seconds.
It didn't necessarily make sense for me to wait, so I didn't. And that's kind of the method that I used to make purchases. And there was a number of different websites that are outside of Amazon that have items that were unique that I wanted to buy directly from them. And I saved those items separately and kept an eye on them. And most of those items, like one of the items, a couple things that I bought that I'm really proud of. I don't know how you pronounce it, if it's EUFE, Eufy. I've been wanting to get their high-end robotic vacuum cleaner. And I think at one point it was like $1,200. It might have gone on sale for like $9.99 if you were lucky during one of the holidays. And so I've been keeping an eye on this bad boy for a long time. So, and it went on sale by, I think, $700 off. So it was $6.99. And what's so special about a $6.99 robot vacuum cleaner? This thing is badass. It's probably one of the best robotic vacuum cleaners on the market. So you set it up. It cleans spots. It goes back and forward. It doesn't transfer messes and spread them all over everything. It does a great job of cleaning. It also mops at the same time too. And if you have spills or things you need to clean on the carpet or upholstery or whatever it might be, it's got a separate lift-off handheld vacuum that you can carry over and use it to clean. So it checks all of the boxes for us. And we already had a little small Roomba that we were using. And I was like, you know what? We can continue to use that thing and let it play out. And I'll wait for Black Friday. And so was definitely handsomely rewarded on that. And I'm very proud I got that. That's coming. I should probably get it sometime this week or next week, and I can't wait to get that. And another thing I bought is I upgraded my rig here that I use to film, and I bought some parts and pieces, but I ended up buying they have the DJI Pocket 3, and they have that one sells for like $699, $669, whatever. And recently they came out with a extra Muse unit, and it's identical to the DJI. All the accessories, everything works with it. The only it's has a facial tracking, so that's what I'm using now on this ride, and I'm gonna use it going forward for vlogging, etc. And you know, with it, you know, it allows me to have a higher quality and level of production, you know, as I continue to do these rides and record, you know, content. So I'm very happy. And so I think it was selling for $4.99 on Amazon. And I was like, okay, hey, that's cheaper than the other one. I wasn't even thinking about even buying it. And then, of course, TikTok has the greatest algorithm in the world. It started showing, maybe a couple weeks before, it was starting to show the extra Muse on TikTok Shop. I think it was like $4.89 is what they were showing it for. And I was like, God damn. And then at some point, so $4.89, then they dropped the price down to $4.19. And then Amazon also dropped the price as a Black Friday price to, hang on.
Distance 5.0 miles, duration 35 minutes and 7 seconds.
Yeah, so Amazon also dropped the price down to $4.19. I was like, it's heating up. And then about a week before on TikTok, they started running it for $3.89. And I was like, well, let me wait and see what happens on Amazon. Maybe for Black Friday, they'll drop it a couple more bucks. But they never did. And so the price kind of popped up to $4.19 a couple times on TikTok, and then back to $3.89. And so finally I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get this bad boy, because there was a guy that was talking. He's like, hey, I'll tell you what, you can go ahead and buy the camera, put it in your shopping cart, check out. There's a coupon in there for $75 off, and we'll go ahead and get you set up with the camera. And I was like, $3.19, I think is about what I paid for it, which was kind of crazy. So I went ahead and checked out. I bought it a day, I think, before. And actually, I think I bought it on Black Friday. And the sale went through. I was like, woohoo, celebration. And then within like 3 to 5 minutes, the order got canceled. I was like, man, those rear end holes, man, they know that I got a hell of a deal on this. They don't want me to have it. So I went back and rebought it. And so, and had my fingers crossed, my toes crossed, and an hour went by, 2 hours. I was like, success. And then roughly about 6 hours later, it canceled. And they said that there was unusual activity on my account. I was like, oh man. So I went back into TikTok. I spent about an hour trying to make sure all my addresses were updated. It's really hard to get through their interface, and updated my credit card, make sure I had the right billing address as well as the delivery address and all that stuff, and finally made the purchase again. And this time I used Apple Pay with the same credit card, and it went through. And you know, pretty much there's no risk to the retailer when they use Apple Pay, because it's encrypted. There's a unique, here, hang on a second here. there is a unique card that's transmitted just for that transaction. After that, it explodes and expires. So it went through, and a day went by, 2 days went by, nothing. I finally got the notification, I think yesterday or the day before, that it shipped, and got it today and got it hooked up. So I'm very, very proud of that score. And I'll tell you, a lot of the DJ equipment, because I'm starting the business DJ Black Banana, and almost none of the DJ equipment that I had saved and stored, you know, when it comes to, how you doing? When it comes to, you know, the controllers, there's a rain controller I want to get, there's speakers, there's roughly about $10,000 worth of stuff that I want to buy, and none of that stuff went on sale at all. So I know before the end of this year, I'm just going to buy the controllers, about $1,700, and as I need the other stuff, I will buy it then, because there's absolutely no urgency, and I didn't see anything within the Keep It charts either, you know. So there you have it. So in the end, it all worked out wonderful and great, and I bought a whole bunch of stuff for Black Friday. You know, I got gifts for people that are close to us, you know, had some great prices, and you know, basically cleared out my to do or to buy list, and there's really nothing else that I really need at this point. So I honestly can say I saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars by buying stuff online during Black Friday. And if the goal was to try to, you know, make these organizations hurt because the prices, because people weren't coming to the table and buying anything, it didn't necessarily work. So folks can still claim victory on Target for what it is, but just as a whole, I think folks were at home eating turkey, celebrating the day, and they were buying stuff. And I remember this real quick, of course, with the whole Target boycott thing, there was a lot of stuff that was part of the foundational Black American movement, where people were like, we're setting it out, we're not going to support them anymore. And you know, all good, I get all that. And so Target was doing these first 50 people or 100 people in line get these wonderful, you know, gift bags. And I think a lot of people went out early in the morning at 2 o'clock in the morning to get in line. And when they posted what the content of what they got, I'm telling you, folks were pissed. They were livid. I got a pack of Pokemon cards. I got a pack of Uno. I got a piece of something for makeup or whatever. And a lot of folks posted on TikTok. I said, you know what? I'm here for the comments. Let me go check out what these people have to say. And all the Black folks were like, hey.
Distance 6.0 miles. Duration
all right, hang on a second.
41 minutes and 33 seconds.
They're like, hey, that's what you get. We're not supposed to be shopping at Target anyway. So it is what it is. You know, I'm not here to tell anybody to do anything. You got to figure out what's right for you and for your family, because in the end, nobody is going to come and rescue you or save you because you did or you didn't do something. So it is what it is, and life continues on. So if you're supporting the boycotts, cool, continue to do what you got to do. And you know, I support you in your decision to do what you do. If you didn't support the boycotts or didn't know about the boycotts or didn't think about the boycotts, you know, it is what it is. You know, folks are going to, you know, do what they want to do, and a lot of things that happen, a lot of people aren't going to know about it in the first place. So you just got to kind of decide, you know, what is the best option for you. So support you guys there. So that's it. I don't think I have anything else to talk about Here, hang on, let me get up this hill. This is kind of another little, let's see. Whew. You guys see how the camera is moving? It's still tracking me? Hey, Muse Extra. All right, let me get up here real quick. Okay, we're looking at 4:17. I think the sun goes down in 30 minutes. So I'll do the whole route here. Okay, here we go. All right. Whew. Okay, let me just cruise down here. All right, so I made it. So like I said, whatever you guys decide you want to do with past, present, and future boycotts, I support you guys and your ability to make a decision to do what's right and best for you as well as your crew. So what are we going to talk about now? All right, and here, let me get up here. Shoot, hang on a second. Another little small hill. I don't want to be huffing and puffing too much and trying to pontificate. So, and I'm coming up here on the Federal Reserve building out here in Richmond. It's going to be on your left side. So, I'm not sure how much you guys are going to be able to see with this tracker I've got dialed in. Oh man. Okay, let me cruise here for a second. Okay, all right, so the last topic I'm going to talk about and discuss today is P. Diddy, Sean Combs. Take that, take that, take that. So, man, I'll tell you, I find 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson to be one of the funniest and most pettiest brothers on the planet. It's funny to watch him as he, goes out of his way to diss a number of different artists and for whatever reason. But I'll tell you, P. Diddy has always had a target on his back from him for sure. And I'm not 100% sure where it came from, if it was one event or a series of things that happened, or if it was multiple things that happened. But I'll tell you what, he is not and does not feel Sean Combs, and every chance that he gets to kind of go after him for whatever reason, he does. He uses that. And so over the years, he has become a powerhouse in the wonderful world of media. He's got a media company. There's a number of different shows that he's, produced and directed, and a number of different artists. So he's amassed quite a little fortune for himself. And I think he's building a studio, if he hasn't done one already. I think it's in the works. So he has taken his influence and come out with a show that's on Netflix. It was a 4-part series. It was called, and I think it just came out. Oh, let me go up here. Let's see here. It's a 4-part series that just came out, and it's called Sean Combs. I think it's called Sean Combs: The Reckoning. And what he's allegedly done is he got a hold of some of P. Diddy's last final few days before the trial and him being arrested, and actually it was the last few days leading up to his arrest where he has not been released and seen the time of day. So he's getting himself together. I think he hired a videographer to kind of film. It's kind of like a day in the life kind of thing. So, and it's supposed to have a lot of footage in it. I'm not going to do any spoil. Actually, there's nothing to really spoil because everything's already played out. But it's got a lot of footage in it from things that you may not have seen, some things you have seen. You know, there's the intersprinkling of, you know, Diddy's last moments before arrest. You know, there's not a lot of that stuff, but really what it does is kind of tells a story about how Diddy got started in the music industry. Even went back to him as a kid when he was like maybe 5, 6, or 7. And they tried to really paint a story of horrific individual based upon the way the piece was slanted. And so there's things that we know for sure that he did, and there's stuff that is still alleged. It's still in court, or it's gone through trial cases and was dismissed, you know. So, but I think the main reason to watch this is because if you were kind of really paying attention to what was happening with the trial and the information that was coming out daily, the releases of information.
Distance
Here, hang on a second.
7.0 miles, duration 49 minutes and 17 seconds.
The horrific account of, you know, horrendous activities that took place, you know. This allows you to see the stories of a lot of individuals that their voices were all that you heard before. There's a couple jurors that are here that are part of the piece, and there's a number of different people that were affected by the things that he did that were proven, and the things that he did that were unproven and alleged. And man, so in the end, you know, I would encourage you guys to watch it, not for the sense that, you know, you're trying to get caught up in all the smoke of this trial. And I'll tell you, I tell Marilyn this all the time, and other people too. I love the drama and I love the smoke. So my life is pretty clean, pretty straightforward, pretty boring, but I love peeling back the curtain and looking at other things that take place at a despair level. How you doing? That way I don't have to go through these things, and it's also encouragement for me not to even consider doing any of this crazy stuff, you know. So try to keep life as clean, straight, and simple as possible, because in the end, almost everything that you do will come out. And it may not come out at a time when you want it to, but the truth has a way of finding its way to the surface. And so all these things that have happened, that are corroborated, you know, it's really crazy to be able to see them and to see all the people and the faces of the folks that were in his space that he utilized as tools and pawns to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. And, you know, like I said, the lesson here is, you know, you have to, I don't care what you want to do in life, there's more than one way to get there. And if you become reliant and dependent on other people to get you where you need to be, you will become subject to them and their will. And so it was very sad to see a number of people talk about a lot of the things that they did. They never ever wanted to do them. They had to kind of put the pieces together and realize what had happened to them. And, you know, all they were there for was to become famous, or to get a break, or to become to get discovered, and that allowed them to kind of turn a blind eye to a lot of the things that they saw that were happening, that were red flags. But they stayed there, and they were quiet, and they were silent. And in the end, a lot of these things happened to those people. And so they never ever got a chance to live out their goal. They never got a chance to live out their dream. They appeared to have been living their dream and their goal, but the paperwork said otherwise. And in the end, they have nothing now, you know. And that's really the sad part about this whole thing. And so all I can do is encourage you guys, you know, and this is always like the business side of this, you know, of these conversations and discussions. You know, you got to have a line in the sand that you won't cross. And if you get close to the line in the sand, you got to say something about it. And if the line in the sand moves or nobody wants to acknowledge it, it's up to you to walk away and figure out a way to try to keep going. And I'll tell you, and when I started going to class, and I made it to my upper division classes at Cal State Hayward, when I got into my first finance class, the very first day, the first thing that the teacher said to us, professor, he said, your job, he said, look around the room. He said, your job here as finance people is to ensure the wealth of the shareholders. That's it. That is your goal. That is your responsibility. That is what you are supposed to do above all things. You're supposed to enrich the people that own the company. That is your job in finance. And so if you're lucky enough to be an owner, great, you will become enriched. But if you're not, the people that you work for, the people that you answer for, the people that you are here to ensure have success are the owners of the companies. You know, whether that's publicly traded, private, you know, whatever it might be, that is your job. And I've heard that all through my finance classes, my upper division. And in contrast, when I was in accounting, and so, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, my job is to ensure the wealth of these guys, but what about if I have to do something that crosses the line or hurts my integrity or whatever, what should I do? And so in my accounting classes, especially the audit one that we had, they talked about, hey, you know, we understand the struggle, but, you know, we accountants, we are above, you know, essentially finance, so to speak. You know, we understand the numbers, we understand how they affect the business. We're the ones that write the story, which is the financial statements that others interpret to determine how things are. And if you are ever in a situation where it is bad or poor or there's fraud involved, you need to say something about it immediately. Well, hang on a second.
Distance 8.0 duration 21 seconds.
So you got to say something about it, bring it to the attention of senior management, be formal about it. And if you do that and nothing happens and nobody wants to do anything about it, and it's clearly illegal, it's clearly unethical, you have a duty and a responsibility to terminate your employment immediately, to quit. No questions about it, no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, that's what you have to do. You have to turn around and quit. And so I've always maintained that position. You know, I've never got myself into any situations before where I would have to come back later on and explain myself and potentially, you know, have to, you know, go on trial or go to jail. And I'll tell you, as a tax person in my life, I've had so many people come to me and ask me to do things for them. So I've had folks come to me that I know, that are close to me, that they've asked me to help produce fake W-2s for them, fake financial statements for their business. I've had people that are nobody that I deal with now, but I've had people in the past that were pastors of churches, that have come to me and asked me to help them produce fraudulent financial information, to help them cheat on their taxes or whatever it might be. And, and some of these people have been close friends, are friends, used to be friends, whatever. And they've asked me to do all kinds of stuff for them. And what I do is I listen. I'm like, okay, let me listen to what you have to say. And so, of course, they start out slow, then they build, and they get more confident in what they're saying. They get to the point where it's like, well, this is all I need you to do for me. And I said, okay, then what I end up doing is I end up repeating back to them exactly what they want me to do. And I said, and so they're like, yeah, that's it. Make some fake W-2s so I can get this loan or whatever. And I said, and I explained to them, I said, you know what? All this, you're asking me to join you in a conspiracy to defraud the United States government, and that is a significant offense, and there's no way of coming back. So you might pay me $200, $300, $400, $500 to do this, but I'm essentially putting everything that I have worked for as a person that is a business owner, going to school, all them goddamn tests I had to take, staying up late at night, running up the hill when my car didn't work in order to make sure I was able to take my finals. You're asking me to put all this on the line for you. Is that correct? And they're always like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean, I'm just trying to get through this, and so that's what you got to do. You have to have a line in the sand that you will not cross and have a high degree of integrity. And no matter what industry you're in or what you're involved in, when these things happen, you got to say, no, I can't do it. And offer a suggestion that is more legal. If that doesn't work, you have to figure out a way to move on. And so a lot of these folks that are part of this Diddy, somewhat documentary, or, I feel for all of them. They were all young at the time. They wanted fame and a fortune. And here they are, all the businesses out in public. And most of them, since these things have happened, they haven't worked in the industry at all. They've been blackballed. People have turned against them, and so this is kind of their way of getting vindication. So ultimately, in the end, it's crazy to hear these stories of what happened with all these folks, and the amount of counseling and therapy that these guys all need to take now is just horrendous. So, is he a monster? Oh man, I'm not even going to express an opinion on that. There's no reason for me to express an opinion on it. But was justice served, or is it being served? Hopefully, because in the end, when it comes down to this legal system, it's not necessarily what happened, it's what you can prove. And so if you can't prove stuff, then in the end, there's not going to be any conviction. And if you have money on your side, it's definitely going to help you for sure. But in the end, he got 50 months. He's getting credit for time served. Hopefully in the end, when this is all said and done and he's a free man, he will have learned from this. And I think this was probably the better thing to have happened to him, where he does get some time, because if he would have got no time, in his mind or anybody's mind, they become unstoppable and invincible. And so at least if they were able to get him on these charges and hold him down for a while, hopefully there's some time of contemplation that he will have while he's in the federal penitentiary. So I think this is federal, so he's not in the state. He'll have some time to contemplate, and hopefully the victims that are named and unnamed and that have had to go through all this, I hope that they're able to find peace and comfort in their lives, and that this ultimately doesn't become the demise of them. So I highly recommend you guys watching it, but watching it through a different lens. And just remember, teach the young folks around you that are younger to try to do what's right, because in the end, you can make a lot of money, you can get a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, but if what you've done...
Distance 9.0 miles, duration 1 hour,
Here, hang on.
and 47 seconds.
If what you've done is very scammy, it's going to get you. And, it's better to have a little bit and have 100% rights to it than to have a whole lot and always be constantly looking over your shoulder. So that's it, guys. I don't have anything else to talk about when it comes to Sean P. Diddy Combs and Black Friday. So these conversations are always designed to take, controversial topics and talk about them. And there's always a business side and a business angle that can affect your life or your business. And so hopefully you guys take the time to watch these ramblings. You guys have gotten something from it. So that's it. I don't think I got anything else to say here. So I'm gonna go ahead and peace out, and thank you guys for watching. Be sure to always like and subscribe to my channels or to my YouTube or wherever you guys find this at. I bid you guys well. Take care, and be safe as we slide into the last few days of this year. All right, guys, take care. I'm just showing you guys how I'm able to control the camera from my phone and flip it around so you guys can see. It's really cool. I'm really glad I spent the $319 to get this thing. It's badass. So, all right.